Hey guys, welcome back to another video of Impossible Mowers. In today's video, we're going to see if we can't get this abandoned Husqvarna up and running again. So, stay tuned. So, like I said in the beginning of today's video, this is an abandoned 2002, I believe. I could be wrong. We gotta run the VIN. Husqvarna. What is it? An XPT with a V-twin Kawasaki. The story behind this rig, my buddy and I found it for free on the side of the road. We talked to the owner, and he bought it brand new. Blade did quit on him, and then ever since then, it was just parking. And it parked for a couple good years. He ran it once a couple months ago, but then it wouldn't drive because he blew the belt on it, and for some other reason, when you do put a belt on it, he says that it won't drive. So we're going to try to see what we can do with this thing today. You can see there is a bit of growth happening on this mower, so definitely been sitting, couple bumps and bruises, but not bad. Like I said, this is XPT, if you can read that. I'm not going to read that out loud. Too long. Powered by a V-twin Kawasaki, which automatically, if it's got the twin Kawasaki, we know it's going to be a ripper. And so what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be seeing if we can get it running and driving, or at least bare minimum clean everything up before we go to start the motor and see if that runs. I have not touched this thing. All I've done is just put it on the trailer, taken it off the trailer, and here we are. I promise you, I've not done a damn thing. So we're going to see, for myself actually, just kind of getting a good look at it. So the idea is we're going to keep it for a little bit, possibly for the whole season, fix it up, and then bring it back to my buddy. He's just moved, so he doesn't really have all of his tools in yet, so he knows I have a shop and I'm pretty good with this stuff, so I'm going to fix that for him, and we'll have it for a couple months, you know, give her a nice little romp around the trail, but for right now, we're going to get it to run and drive. So the first thing we're going to do, just straight off the bat, is clean up. We can see the engine bay is dirty. I'm expecting to see a mouse nest in the air filter. You know, hood's dirty, that's par for the core. Underbelly, really dirty. Looks like we need a new fuel filter. I mean, it's good enough to run, but it's definitely shot. Clean up the battery, because I'm not loving this corrosion here. I really don't want to run this thing if there's going to be corrosion in it. And then just a little bit of cleanup in there. I would run my power washer, but it's out of fuel right now, so we're just going to do a little couple stuff by hand. So yeah, so the first thing we're going to do is run through you guys run through the motor. So like I said, a 15 horsepower V-twin Kawasaki. The guy did it right. He used a good old-fashioned Wix filter, not going cheap. Kohler's good too. You know, they're just fine. Just nothing cheap like Hype or anything like that. Just really happy to see this guy really took care of it. Our oil situation looks really nice. That is like beautiful. It's clean. It's like honey. You can see it drip. Really nice stuff. So the oil's good. It's got compression. So when we go turn over, we hit 1, 2, 3, and then right there's our compression stroke. So that's two things just crossed off the checklist here. Throttle seems to be still connected. See the linkage cable's moving. So maybe grease that up a bit. We got choke. Choke works. And then our PTO engager, which obviously won't be working today because we don't have a blade deck. Definitely need a new seat. Other than that, it's not bad. The only thing I don't like about this though is when you go to pull this back, watch this. Like if you're not careful, good lord, that's the quickest way to pull up a blade deck I've ever seen. We got an hour gauge here. It says we need an oil change, but I think we'll be alright. Not liking that play. How many hours we're reading on the odometer? Let's have a look, or the hour gauge. Holy Christ, can't even get the camera straight. Looks like we got 1,100 hours just broken in. Nice. So, without further ado, let me grab the tools out. I'll stop the video right here. We're going to start by taking out the battery, grabbing the wire brushing the points, putting the battery back in, cleaning out the dash, the engine, the hood, the underbelly, just giving it a cleanup. And then we'll proceed to try crank it over, see if the motor starts, and if the motor does start, then we'll slap a belt on it and see if we can find that issue where the guy said that he put a belt on it and it wouldn't drive. So without further ado, let's get right into it. All right, we're gonna stop by taking off the negative here, work our way to the positive. I think the positive's definitely not as bad as the negative. You can really see how that's really bad. Not terrible, but pretty there. And this one is decent. Now the reason why I'm cleaning the battery first is because I want to make sure that when we go to start this puppy, we don't have to go through the whole BS of, oh, it's not starting because the battery points are not clean, or the negative's not making good contact with the terminal because it's corroded, you know. So I figured to get this stuff out of the way, and then we'll definitely do the old-fashioned trick we do here where we just PB blast or WD-40 these nuts so that it's easier to take out the next time. I'm noticing that we have a interstate battery and what could be a mouse nest in here, or just grass kicked up from the blade deck. But this guy, whoever owned it, he did us a favor. The guy we met was not the original owner. He got it from his uncle, I believe. And then his uncle was the original owner who died. And then he ended up with it, sold it for free, and here we are with it. So that guy really knew what he was doing. We got the Wix filter, V-twin Kawasaki, interstate battery. I mean, it's the perfect combination for a good running motor and a solid unit on the trail. It's exactly what we want to see, and it's easier for me to work on it because I know that this interstate battery, you know, these suckers, they last a long time. So even if it's a bad battery, I know and I hope it's not a bad battery, but even if it is, it just makes it easier for us to get in here and access it for a jump pack, which is really nice. I'm noticing this bolt's really seized up here, a lot of rust on it. Yeah. Quickly run to the shop here. Chuck is almost done, by the way. We're just gonna do a video on her running and driving very soon, so stay tuned for that. That could be this week or next week. So keep your ears out for that. Got this little nook here. Got this good old-fashioned PB Blaster liquid wrench. We are not sponsored by these people, but I do carry a lot of their liquids because they're pretty good. A little bit on that terminal. Now you're probably thinking, oh, that's a lot. And that is a lot, actually. I probably shouldn't be doing that. But it is what it is. Let's see if we can get it to turn again. I got the camera pointing toward it. There we go. It's moving a little bit. So you can't get it by hand. There we go. Look at that. We'll definitely run the wire brush through these bolts because we definitely want to make these bolts last as long as we can. Don't want to spend money when we don't have to. I'm hoping I have the right belt size for this, but in case I don't, I have to buy one. Oh yeah, you can see how that was just sticking right on there. Definitely gonna wire brush that. Holy cow, look at that. So get a good focus on it. Terminal is shot. Now what I really like about this setup is the solenoid is up here. What they did back in the 90s with my Craftsman and even the 80s is they had the solenoid pushed all the way back near that battery. Terrible spot for them because the longer the battery cable you have from solenoid to battery, the more stress you put on the electrical wiring. And because the battery's up here, not back there, and the solenoid's right next to the battery, not only does that make it really easy to access, but I mean, it's a cleaner setup, it's a healthier setup, and it makes for a really good unit. So we're all seeing good signs of a classic old unit here. I think this is 2000s era. You know, the hood really tells me it's 2000s era, but we'll definitely run by the VIN on the back of the seat and see what year it actually is. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh, there goes my wrench. So not a mouse nest, but definitely looks like grass, old grass. What tends to happen is when you're spinning that blade deck, it's shooting all the grass one way. But if there's wind, or if your chute is not pointing in the right direction, it'll come back at you. And just the movement of the pulleys, it could come up through this way, sides of the engine when it's not covered, like these little side skirts. So that's where we commonly see this grass. Definitely get that pressure washer going and maybe get a shop vac at Harbor Freight. Doesn't have to be clean, just good enough. I would like to do this pretty nice though, you know. Alright, we're now going to start wire brushing in the shop. So let's bring this sucker over here. Basically, my procedure of wire brushing batteries is I grab myself a drill and a wire brush attachment off the old US General. What I do is I plug it into the US General on the top there, the old power strip, and then put it into the drill, and then obviously just lightly drill or wire brush the corrosion off the terminals. So let me get this set up. I'll get back to you guys when we start getting to business. Alrighty, look at that. Nice and clean. Not brand new, but clean enough. Good enough to put back on the mower. So we're gonna walk this sucker back over here. Make sure we get the battery position correct. Beautiful. Now we're gonna plug our terminals in. I wish I could find a way to get that corrosion off. I'll probably hit it with some sandpaper. Yeah, that's what I'll do. Quickly blast these bolts with some PB Blaster. A little bit goes a long way. And then unbolt them here. There we go. Like I said, that PB Blaster technique, it's not necessary, but I mean, you could use anything, WD-40, engine oil, anything that's a lubricant. Use olive oil too if you want to get real crazy, but I just use it because it works for me in the mowers, and whenever I get a new mower like this with corroded bolts, let's get this battery bolt in here. It just makes it easier for me to take in and out the bolts to install a new or old battery the next time. So I'm just helping my future self. Righty. Grab the wrench that fell on the ground. We get the power coated DeWalt wrenches, so when stuff like that happens, it doesn't ruin the wrench. They're expensive, but can't go cheap with tools. I'm gonna try to get this a little more flush. I lost my stand to my camera, so I'm having to do most of this one-handed again. This battery terminal back on. Good Lord, alright. Alright, let me quickly snap my fingers and get these all bolted in. Alright, man, that's looking pretty good. Looking nice and fresh, too. That's definitely going to give us some good contact. So, step number 2 is we're going to just clean out some of the stuff by hand. Not the best way of doing it. Wonder what kind of oil leak we got here. Looks like we got a good amount. Might be a gasket, what's common on most of the motors. I see is they have these little plastic, Kawasaki's don't do them as much, but Kohler and Briggs do this. They have a plastic, this one's metal, oil drain, and there's a gasket behind the bolt so that oil doesn't come out. Usually what happens is over time and vibration, the gasket either wears out or breaks from an oil change use. So when you go to unscrew the bolt, do an oil change, the gasket either breaks, pops out, whatever, etc., etc., and you get these slow leaks. They're not bad, but it can get pretty bad if that leaks onto your pulley, and now you're slipping, which could be the case. You know, that'd be a good reason for why you'd have a belt, and then it doesn't go into drive because it's just slipping. You can see the fuel line runs through here. This is not the best cleaning job. I'm just doing this just to get it to run and drive. I'm going to be doing a full video of us just power washing this thing when I get gas from my power washer. Just going to town at it. Get some of this growth out of here. You can tell this has definitely been sitting when you got plants growing on it. Been a while since I've seen them over with that. Usually these are the ones I get are garage kept because I'm spoiled. This one's been out in the elements. Let's see what our plug wire is looking like. Oh geez, not bad, but I'm seeing a lot of rust on the spark plug. Not, you know, it's not terrible, but not ideal. It's a big thing with these mowers. It doesn't matter whether you've got a V-twin, single cylinder, Yanmar diesel, but over time, grass gets shoved up through the blower shroud and overheats the mower because it kind of like it's like a blanket. All that grass just packs inside the head, and these heads have these fins. You can see kind of a little bit of them right there. They have these fins, and when things like grass get into those fins, like I said, it creates a blanket and makes the engine run really hot, and sometimes you can smoke them out, overheat them, and kill them. So I definitely want to take this blower shroud out right now and just see what we're dealing with. I don't want to run this motor if there's junk in there. So let me quickly get this unbolted and take it out, and we'll see what we got. Alrighty guys, just took the blower shroud off. One quick thing to tell you guys, you don't have to bolt back these bolts all the way out. For some of you guys that don't know, these bolts have this little silver notch. My camera can focus. There we go. Got the silver notch right here on the edge, and instead of having to take the bolt out, it's so that you can just ease the bolt out and the blower shroud will come off. So I took it off. Not a lot of junk, but there is junk present. You see some of this grassy stuff. Everything looks alright. Doesn't look like any mice got into it. A little bit of junk there in the fins. Nothing that's going to hurt it though. Not as bad as I was preparing for. See all this crud on top of the carburetor. Probably just old gas or old what was it? Grass just sitting for a long time. Interesting the way they had the intake. This is a different intake system than my Cowie. My Cowie's got these large plastic arches. This one's just got a nice narrow arch. That's pretty good when you're looking for fuel. I'm not making it perfectly clean, just clean enough. I want to give these things some attention. Don't want to always ignore them. So that looks pretty good. I'm going to pop the valve. Oh, hold on. Ah, look at that. A little bit of something there. This looks like a grassy spider nest or something. Alright. I'm going to put this back on. And we'll look at the air filter. So let me snap my fingers again. And just like that, the magical snap, we got the cover back on. I'll show you guys. There's a bolt there, oil drain tube. Oil dipstick. Geez, one over here, and then one right near the fuel line. So 1, 2, 3, 4. comes right off. And then don't forget these 3 bolts, and that'll come right off. Now the process I do here with my engines, whenever I get something that I've never touched before, I really recommend for you guys to do, especially for the users that are new and they're new to this kind of stuff. You want to do the same thing even with automotive. You never just want to hop into a motor that you've just bought and you have no idea whether it runs or drives and just start it. You always want to do an engine, I mean you could, but to be safe and from stopping you from having to spend extra money, just look through the motor, look through the air intake, which is what we're about to do, the battery, the electricals, the blower shroud. I mean, just the small stuff can really save you money, because if we don't do this stuff and there happens to be a failure, you know, you don't know if you're going to catch the motor on fire. You could possibly get the motor to run, but then you have a fuel line leak because you didn't check your fuel line, or blow the motor because you didn't check the cover, the blower shroud, for any debris. So it's just always something to keep in mind. I know most of you guys out there know what you're doing, but just to the new guys out there, the newbies, just make sure you do that first. Always check, never just assume that everything's going to be fine. And even if everything is good, the fact that you checked it stops you from having to have those problems with your certain motor at all. So we're going to check our little, come on, definitely grimy, air filter. Okay. Let me take this hood off. So take these hoods off. It's just like everything else. You push in. It's going to be hard for me to catch the camera. Oh, this one's actually might be bent, but usually you push in to the dash, and then with both hands, one there and one on there, you can lift the mower straight up and take the hood off. But I think we can get away with this. Let's just have a look at this. Definitely shot. Definitely gonna need a new one. It's not too bad, so it's good enough to run. Let's look at this blower shroud, or I mean this thing here. Yeah, not too bad. Standard. Oh wow, mouse nest. Look at that. Good thing we checked. You don't want any of that in your intake, that's for sure. Clean this off here. All right. Yeah, good enough. Alright, let's have a quick look at this intake here. I can just get a big peek. Oh yeah, pretty dirty in here. I'll try to get the camera in a good spot. It's so hard to do this kind of work when you don't have the right tools. Yep. Dirty, dirty. Sorry about the camera angle. I know it's not the best. Okay. Let me get this hood off, and there we go. There's a better look. Definitely see. Sorry about that back there, guys. Here we go. Definitely some stuff. How to clog your carburetor 101 right here. Yeah, I'll have to definitely do a cleaning video on this thing. Maybe that's what I'll do this weekend. Hopefully. Maybe. Yeah. Dirty. You can definitely tell this thing's been sitting. But I think it's good enough for us to run. Cleaned it the best I could right now. We'll definitely, like I said, do a cleaning video on this rig, because she definitely needs it. Alrighty, now where did I put that? How much? Oh, there it is. Filter. And then the cover. Holy smokes. I swear, this small stuff just runs off on you. how much you want to bet. So yeah, there it is under the mower. Just about to say how much you want to bet's under the motor. All right, pretty nice, standard. So you put your filter in first, like that, nice and snug. If I can have my camera point to it, Jesus. Right, and then we got our filter. I think it goes like this. Wait. Does? Yeah, it does. Okay. Had to remember there for a minute. Put it in through the 2 holes. And then mint. Like I said, I know I keep saying this, but it is mandatory we get a freaking cleaning video on this thing. Because that is just not acceptable. I don't accept dirty mowers. The only exception with this thing is sun's going down. I'd like to get this video done and get it to at least run. If we end up only getting it to run, I'll definitely do a video again, so a part 2 of it running and driving, and then part 3 if we're lucky going on the trails. So enough talk. I think I'll just go without hood for now. I think that's good enough, just to get it to run. So let's grab the old keychain, our old hell yeah brother keychain here. I'll go for the old Cub Cadet. See if we got any crankage, any battery. Always want to make sure sensors do work on this thing, so which they will be deleted, except for the clutch. The clutch sensor is very important. You don't want to be having the clutch sensor disconnected, and then when you go to turn the motor over, it's moving the mower. Let's see what we got. Wow. Wow. You can tell he's surging. Any backfire? Nope. Wow, I was not expecting it to run that quick. I didn't even know it had gas in it. Probably should have checked that first. Good lord, that's freaking awesome. You can definitely tell it surges. The carburetor, like all that stuff I showed you, I would not doubt if there's some junk in the carburetor. I'll try to run it for a little longer, see if it'll clear itself out, but if it doesn't, I'm just going to play it safe. Take the carburetor out, just clean it up, give it a little bit of touch. But that's freaking awesome. Wow. So I'm actually going to, before we do anything, I'm going to start it again and hook my voltmeter up just to make sure that that battery's charging, because if we look over here, I do see a lot of electronics that are dirty. So let me quickly grab my voltmeter and hook it up to the battery and see what we're getting for charge. So I'll get back to you guys right when I get my voltmeter. Alrighty, we're going to quickly hook up the voltmeter to the battery, see what we get. So without further ado, Okay, that needs a carburetor clean bad. You can hear it starting to not want to go into throttle. But she's charging. She went from 14.18 and then I think 18 or 17, dropped down a couple numbers, and then you can see it was starting to go up from like a 14.14 to more of a 14.16. So that was pretty good. So we are getting charge, and I was kind of expecting it to get charge. This is a pretty fairly new interstate. It just had corrosion on it. I don't want to hurt the motor, so what I'm going to do is we're going to tear this thing off, clean out the carburetor, put it back in, run it again. If it starts to run good, then we'll slap a belt on it and take it from there. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Alrighty, I just took the air filter off. Definitely tell we got some carbon in here. Pretty nasty stuff. If I can get it to zoom in or clear up, there we go. A lot of this junk. So we're going to do the classic, remove the fuel line like that. Because it's a fuel pump, it's going to spill a little bit. Lean it up against there like that. Carefully pull it out. We don't want to break any gaskets. So far, we're doing pretty good. Okay, come on, baby. Come on. There we go. You always want to try to be as careful as you can taking a carburetor out. Try not to bend the governor linkage and all that good stuff. Alright, so we'll start by taking off throttle linkage and the governor linkage. I can carefully do it. This is supposed to be a two-hand job, but can I have it back here? Man, it sucks when you don't have a stand. I completely lost mine. I don't know where I put it. Couldn't find it before the video, and I was running out of daylight, so kind of wanted to get this done. You're gonna see some really weird camera angles here. Alright, let me get this unclipped and then we'll move on. Alright, we got it out. Pretty dirty carb. So we're gonna try to drip all that fuel out, which surprisingly was not a lot. Okay, so we're going to go over here to the US Jenny. Damn it, I should have been prepared for a carburetor change. Somewhere here there is a cloth. Okay, I don't see it around here. What's that? Just put on here. I usually like to have a oil and fuel cloth right there just to protect it from anything from the gas, but that's alright. Trying to see if I can set the camera here. There we go. Okay. So, got our carburetor. These are really nice and easy to work on because the bolt for the float bolt is right there. But before we go working on the float bolt, I'm just going to pull it away here from the desk. And we're just going to give it a quick little rub, a little cleanage. And let's see. Of course, we're leaking fuel almost everywhere. I can hear some people going, no, he's not doing it right. But, you know, it is what it is. I can get this to clamp on. Holy smokes, it's right when I go to work on it. This fucking thing wants to... Okay, change of plans. We're doing this outside. Not doing that in my shop. Okay, we'll do it right here. doesn't really matter where, I just prefer to do it in the shop. The most cleanest method. But I guess anyways, good. Okay. So we're gonna grab our bolt, pop this open, and clean it up. So I'll get to you guys when I do that. Alright, now that the gas is all drained out, got this and our wire brush. Definitely tell there's some crud in that bowl there. If I can get it toward the light. There we go. Not terrible. Gasket's decent. Holy Christ. I swear, when shit doesn't go right, it will not go right. At all. Okay. So, what we're going to do is grab our little carb cleaning kit. And we're going to remove this little needle in here. Just kind of get our pliers in here. My camera won't move. See, it's definitely stuck right in there. So we're gonna grab this sucker. Probably won't be able to see this. There we go. All I did was just took a plier, connected it from the top post, and then pushed the needle in. Now, if we can pull this thing out. Wow, this thing does not want to come off. Just kind of working it. There we go. Whew! That was difficult. Got our needle. Not bad. Pretty good. See, it's a pretty good needle. But we can see there's definitely some corrosion up there on the top. Nothing bad. So we're gonna quickly wire brush this stuff off. So we're basically going to quickly wire brush that carburetor off, make it clean, and then take our little needles here. There's one of them. We're going to run through all the jets to make sure everything's all cleaned up. So I'm going to quickly do this right now instead of battling for a friggin' stand, and then we'll be all good. So I'll get back to you guys when the carburetor is cleaned. Alrighty guys, very sorry about that stand problem. I like to try to make as good a quality as video as I can. But for right now, I cleaned it up. Not looking too bad. It's not brand new, but it's good enough. The internals seem alright, but the bowl was pretty damn rusty, so I grabbed out the old wire brush. Look at all that grime that was in there. Yuck. Definitely gotta clean this out. Definitely want to get a second one so I can do more than one carburetor. And so now we're ready for install. So I'm going to quickly install it. And I'm going to show you guys how to install this on a Kawasaki, because so far we've seen how to do it on the Briggs and on Kohler, but Kawasaki, different game. So I'm going to stop the video right here and get back to it when we get the carburetor ready for install. Alrighty guys, so we're going to walk you through it right here. Usually with these lawnmowers, when you do a carburetor installation, you have to tune the throttle. With a Kawasaki, you can choose to do that if you want, which we might be doing later on today in this video, or in the second video, part 2, since it is getting pretty dark out. But usually you can tune your throttle and make it a little more snappy and adjust it with a screw here for your idle, or whether you want a high or low idle. Now, one common question I get from a lot of people on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, it's that and on any carburetor, is there any right way to put on a carburetor? So like, which linkage do I do first? And if there is a way, how do we know what way is it? And I'm going to tell you right now, there's no specific way you have to do it. I always try to do throttle cable first and governor rod, and then choke second, and then vice versa when I'm putting it in, only because it's a little more easier. But I'm telling you, whether you do choke the first time or the throttle cable, governor cable, or vice versa, there's no difference. It's not going to hurt the motor whether you do one first or the other. It's really more about simplicity's sake. So which way is going to be the easiest for you to install without breaking the rod, bending a governor spring. So to answer you, no, there's no specific way you have to put it on. You can put it on any way you want. I just choose to do it that separately because it's just a little easier on my end when I'm doing it one-handed. So that's a pretty good one. Carburetor looks pretty good. Gaskets did not break, so we got lucky. Saved myself a good 10, 15 bucks on gaskets right there. And boom, it's that freaking easy. And then you put your intake on, fuel line, clip everything, clip it all together, and then we're ready to rip. So let me quickly put all this back together, and we're going to try to rip it one more time, see if we can get it to do a nice idle and high RPM at a good spot where it's not tripping on itself like it was before. So without further ado, let's get to it. There we go, carburetor's installed. Oops, almost forgot the blower shroud. There we go. Geez, the sun went down real fast. I'm telling you, winter up north here, it's crazy. Alright, cranking it over, starting it off an idle. Will she run better? Will it run okay, but there's a humming noise, and it seems to be blowing a lot of smoke. Let's check our dipstick and see, make sure we didn't blow a head gasket. I don't think we did. Yeah, no, we're good. I don't see any compression smoke. My only thought could be it's stuck in choke. Oh, because it isn't choke. Look at that. Jesus. Try it again. So it's not the carburetor. So this tells me a couple things. It could be our fuel filter being really dirty. It's not allowing the carburetor to get enough fuel. It could be that we are low in gas. I mean, it's pretty dark. I don't know if I can tell right now. Let me see. shake it up a bit. Look with the light. Oh God. Let me check. Yep, bone dry. Okay. So it could just be picking up whatever's left on the lines. Or it could have enough fuel in it, but it's really low. What I'm going to do is just buy a tuning kit for this. Nothing big. Just getting a new air filter, spark plugs. Doesn't need an oil change. I'm going to look at the fuel pump. I think it's fine. Oil filter, a fuel filter. So just small stuff. You know what? Just a small tune-up. Just the air filter, plugs, fuel filter, and that's it. Just something to pick itself up a little, because you can tell she's struggling. And with the dirty fuel filter like this, I mean, it's really just caked. And it looks broken inside, so I don't doubt this thing's not running. So we got it to run, and that is pretty freaking cool. I wish we can get it to drive, but like I said, the sun gets down really low here. So there will be a part 2 with this mower. We are going to get it to run better and then fully drive. And with all that said and done, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. There is a Patreon. Links down below. 7-day free trial, don't you forget. And an Instagram link. I'll also link that below. I'll also link in parts for this motor in case some of you guys out there are struggling to find some parts, which you really shouldn't. They're on Amazon, eBay. You pretty much find them anywhere. But I'll still link it below just to help you guys out. And that's pretty much it. Like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a thumbs up, tell your friends and family about this so we can get this channel to grow. And I can't wait to see you guys for the part 2. With all that said and done, hope you guys stay safe and catch you guys next time.